Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Joy of Stick. Stickhead here with your Atari ST gaming channel, and today I'm bringing you episode 8 of the top 50 Atari ST games, and we're creeping ever closer to the top 10. Now the previous 5 games in the last list were just absolutely amazing. I think there's about 4 of my all-time favourites in that 5 alone, and there's some absolute crackers in this one as well. So without further ado, let's dive in, shall we?
Number 15.
Playing Gauntlet in 2-player mode on my friend ZX Spectrum was how my love for co-op games was forged, so when he upgraded to an ST, buying the sequel to that great game was an absolute no-brainer. We were blown away by how similar to the arcade it was, and loved the sound effects and speech samples. And there's something about this game that just captured my imagination. The back of my exercise books at school would be filled with imaginary dungeon layouts populated by grunts, lobbers, keys, dragons. This game felt like an adventure. What would we discover next? The role-playing aspect of the game might have been minimal, but still it was there. My friend was always the big burly warrior, so would charge in on point, and I, who was always the wizard, would hang back like a coward, but always making sure to grab the potions for those screen-clearing magic blasts. The other characters had their strengths too, with the super quick-firing elf and the great hand-to-hand combat of the Valkyrie. Games stick in your memory for a long time when they elicit strong emotions, and one of the strongest emotions I remember feeling in a video game was the terror we would feel upon being assaulted by a death, and that truly excruciating sound effect. One of the greatest cooperative arcade games was given a truly great conversion on the ST.
Number 14.
My love of science fiction grew exponentially in my early teens. I'd get lost in novels written by Arthur C. Clarke and Isaac Asimov, would watch Red Dwarf and Star Wars obsessively, and it was games like Frontier Elite 2 that would let me feel like I was living out those fantasies for myself. The gorgeous big box that it came in was crammed with information that I just devoured. The Gazetteer and Novella so perfectly set up the world that I was going to spend hour upon hour in for the foreseeable future. A lot of Frontier's appeal is in the freedom afforded to the player. Do what you want to do and be whatever you want to be. You start on a habitable moon that orbits a gas giant in the Barnard star system. You're given a ship and a few credits, and that's it. The rest is up to you. Become an interstellar postman, a miner, a courier, or a taxi driver, or just join the Navy. The choice is yours. As your reputation improves, more career opportunities are opened up to you, more dangerous, less honourable career opportunities maybe, but a lot more lucrative and exciting. I wonder if being a hitman comes with healthcare benefits. A lot of the fun in Frontier comes from learning its systems. How can you maximise the profit of your limited cargo hold, or is it best to take on the most well-paid jobs, or do they just bring a little too much attention? How much can you get away with bending the rules before the fines become unprofitable, or how can I tell where this ship has hyperspace to? There isn't a story here to speak of, but that's one of the reasons why the game shines. It gives you a galaxy, the tools to survive and thrive in that galaxy, and with a firm slap on the back says, "Off you go, lad." And you make your own story in this game.
Number 13.
Bubble Bobble was a fantastic game, and it's often difficult for a sequel to live up to such a legacy, but Rainbow Islands is an absolute delight. Cute, colourful cartoon graphics are suitably matched by a wonderfully whimsical soundtrack, both of which suit the theme of the game perfectly. Fans of Bubble Bobble may have been disappointed to see hide nor hair, or should that be scale nor tail, of the dinos that were such a joy to control in the original. Fear not, Bub and Bob may have lost their theropod form, but have lost none of their effectiveness. This time around, instead of blowing bubbles at their enemies, our cute heroes can conjure rainbows that can trap or knock out the googlies and act as makeshift platforms to reach higher areas. Skilled players will be looking to kill enemies by dropping rainbows on their heads. Doing so will make them drop one of 7 different coloured gems upon death, all of which must be collected to release a big, fat, juicy gem. And collecting all 7 of these big gems before finishing the game will unlock the true and happy ending.
Number 12.
Well, it seems we've answered the age-old argument, at least for Atari ST owners. The Sensible Soccer came in at, 20? And here we have Kickoff 2, a whole 8 places above it at number 12. So there you have it, conclusive. Kickoff 2, Sensible Soccer 0. As far as I'm concerned, I couldn't pick between them. They are without doubt the 2 greatest football games available on the ST. Both have their merits and both achieve different things in their attempts to emulate the noble game. Whereas Sensible Soccer is about the build-up, the delicately directed passing and intricate shots, Kickoff 2 is a heavy-octane, pedal-to-the-metal race for the goal. And when it comes to their approach to the game, Sensible Soccer is the Lotus Elan, whereas Kickoff 2 is the Dodge Viper. It takes a huge amount of skill just to hold on to the ball in Dino Dini's masterpiece. It's not stuck to you like it is in other football games, meaning that you must position your player perfectly or time your turn perfectly in order to take the ball with you when you turn. To see an expert Kickoff 2 player achieve mazy dribbles is like watching a kung fu master. As a result, every single goal in Kickoff 2 must be earned through skill and graft, making it all the more satisfying when you do eventually score. Few football games before or since have matched the euphoria you feel upon scoring, and that for me is one of the key elements of a real game of football.
Number 11.
In the not too distant future, the Earth's resources have been completely exhausted, but Mother Earth's generosity is not yet completely spent, as luckily, somewhere out to sea, a volcanic eruption has caused the formation of a group of islands rich in valuable resources. 2 unmanned aircraft carriers have been sent to colonise this archipelago of islands, but unfortunately, the second and superior carrier has been usurped by the terrorist organisation Stanza. Due to the unstable volcanic activity in the area, it's been deemed unwise to bomb the carrier remotely, so it's up to you to take command of the first carrier and weaken the second carrier's grip on the area and eventually take it down. You'll be doing that by making decisions on how best to deploy the resources available on the carrier, using the 3D view from the carrier's bridge and the group of icons adorning the edges of the screen. The carrier itself isn't the only vehicle at your disposal. You can launch flying drones to identify targets, or deploy aquatic drones in a protective formation. Walrus tanks can be used to attack the enemy and launch a virus that will take over an enemy's island. These can then build a command centre that can mine or build upon or defend the island that you control. You can also launch Manta aircraft to bomb the enemy and soften them up before you send the walruses in. The strategic depth on offer here in a game of this age is remarkable. And what I really appreciate is the fact that, aside from the scenario and objective, the game doesn't give you any direction at all. You're free to explore the capabilities of the carrier and work out the best way to take over the islands and eventually achieve your goal.